Hey gamers, welcome back to the channel. Today in DC Dark Legion, we're going to talk about the top 5 best free-to-play heroes in the game. I'm going to explain what I mean by free-to-play. There is some specific criteria in there. I'm also going to explain why I didn't go to 10. Top 5 is solid. Top 10, not so much. But we're going to go ahead and talk about this. I think we're going to have fun. We've got a lot to discuss here, so let's get into it. All right, and welcome back. Let me frame this up a little bit for you. When I mean free to play, I mean that these heroes, you can get them from mother boxes. You can get them from character select packs from Darkest Timeline. You can get them from the bleed as long as they are not a 40 shard mythic plus banner hero. So I don't consider that free to play right now because the banner is 4 weeks. After 4 weeks, we have no idea when that banner is going to be coming back around. So I wanted to make a list of characters that was easy to build, that we know that we can continually build them up regardless of banner. So that is what I mean by free to play. Also, what we're going to talk about on this list is not only the top 5, but also what are the best legacy pieces for them, and also stat priority when you take a look at force. I think it's going to be a good conversation, maybe a little bit of a long video, but hey, let me know what you think. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like this information. Leave me some suggestions, questions, whatever you got in the comments section below, and then let's get into it. So let's first talk about why I didn't go to 10. Just really quick, the top 5 I think are pretty solid. I think for the most part, by and large, the community will agree with the top 5. Once you get beyond the top 5, it gets super subjective, more subjective than I think usual. So what I wanted to do was put out the top 5, and then I'm going to do a follow-up, and then I'll put out a top 10. And I think that's about as far as I'm going to go for a free-to-play list, is go to a top 10. So let's talk about the first hero. Surprise, it's Wonder Woman. Why is Wonder Woman so good? She is very free-to-play. She is very plug-and-play. She's great in Training Simulator. You've got her stuns, which is awesome. It helps you push those more difficult battles. Don't use her so much in Combat Cycle outside of the JLD team. So she is a Justly Dark member. If you've seen my videos and my streams, we do a massive amount of damage in Combat Cycle with it. Not so much because of her, but because of Constantine. But she's part of that team, which helps increase the overall damage of that team. So she's great in Trading Simulator. She's very helpful with the JLD team in Combat Cycle. Also, she is good in Brawl. Having a crowd control mechanic, specifically the stun, is very helpful in PvP. When you can disrupt your opponent, reduce the amount of attacks that they can do to you, and increase the amount of attacks that you can do to them, then the better. So Wonder Woman, she is fantastic. She can give her allies a shield. This is based on her HP. She can also do some damage. It's based on her attacks and physical damage. She's got this stun here, as well as her stun on her ultimate. Again, a physical damage based on her attack. When her HP reduces below 75%, she gets increased defense. And then her global skill here increases all champions' defense by 60. It's okay. I'm not a fan of flat stats. We all know percent-based stats are better. But one thing I did notice with these new global stats or skills is that legendaries are all flat stats, at least from what I saw. So once you start getting into the mythics, then you start seeing the percent increases. So she is fantastic. Let's talk about gear. I'm going to talk about the best mythic, in my opinion, as well as legendary. There could be a little bit of differences. There's like 1 or 2 in here we'll talk about. But for Wonder Woman, HP defense, crit damage resistance. She is a guardian. She is a defender. She is meant to soak up damage. Yes, she has some crowd control that works out very well, but she wants to stay alive. So anything that increases her defense or reduces the amount of incoming damage that she has. The Amazonian protection here increases defense and men. This mental here, this is a spiritual damage defense stat. And then you have Amazonian protection here that gives you a shield equal to the 5% of her max HP. So that's my number 1. Get her this. If you don't have this, the other thing I would suggest is improved Fear Gas Vial. Now, these gear suggestions are based off of the gearing guide that I have already put out. If you haven't seen the video, I'll put a link up to it over here. Or you can head on over to my Discord, and I've got the snapshot there where you can take a look at all the different heroes and my suggested legacy pieces for each one of them. Here we've got HP, mental, so we've got that spiritual damage decrease, and we've got dodge as well. So this is a good one for her also. When we talk about stat priority, when we took a look at her abilities, it's all based on mainly HP and defense. So those are the two things that I suggest as far as force, is focus on that. You can also do this as well, this crit resistance. When I talk about defense, look at the overall force options, because crit resistance is a form of defense. It reduces the amount of incoming damage. All right, that's Wonder Woman. Let's talk about character number 2. That's going to be Green Arrow. He's way up here. He is just a straight up damage dealer. So when we take a look at his kit, all of his attack, physical damage is based on his attack. We also have a stun here. We've got 2 stuns between these 2 characters. You put them on a team, which a lot of you, if you are just now starting in the game, brand new, you're going to have these heroes right off the bat. It is a good team to start building these 2 together. You got multiple crowd control mechanics here, which is great. We've got physical damage based off attack here. We've got physical damage based off attack there. We've got crit rate increase here. And then his global skill here, increase all champions attack by 80. If we take a look at gear, my suggestion is the T-Sphere Weakness Analyzer. We got attack, and crit damage. Also increases crit rate by 8%. And upon casting ultimate gains Analyze Vulnerability, which increases crit damage. So all out damage dealer, does fantastic. This is my number 1 suggestion. If you don't have this, I would go with Gas Derringer, which increases attack and crit damage. If you've got Tectonic Disruptor, you could go that route. The only reason why I don't suggest this, yes, it has attack and crit damage, crit rate increase here, but it inflicts severe wound, which reduces healing. That is more of a PvP legacy piece, in my opinion. You could swap it out. You could put this on him and take him into Brawl and then use it there. So there's an option for you as well. When we take a look at his force, it's all attack, it's all crit. Those are my main 2 that I would suggest for you. Crit rate boost. I think one of his abilities here has a crit rate boost as well. Attack. So focus on his attack and his crit. Once you got that where you want, then fill in the blanks wherever you feel that you want to add some additional stats or skill buffs here, like reducing the cooldown of multitasking by a fraction of a second. All right, so that is Green Arrow. Next, Ivy. Fun fact here, if you didn't know, so somebody, I think name is Fairy Tale, got a hold of me on server 204, said, hey, check out server 325 because they've changed up the 7-day login a little bit. I think it's probably a little bit of a catch-up mechanic, which I think is cool. But day 2 gives you Ivy. Day 7 still gives you Harley. So I think that's kind of cool. So Ivy, Harley in 7 days is fantastic. Ivy, one of the top 5 best characters, free-to-play characters in the game. Let's go over her kit a little bit. I think what really helps her is she does some good healing. She does a little bit of damage. She also has a little bit of crowd control as well. Her vines help a lot. So this one here, this one helps do some damage. This one here helps do some healing. Her ultimate unleashes green energy and summons countless vines, healing the target for 100% of her attack. Each vine she summons increases the healing effect by 20%. That's always good. So it's based off her attack. We've got Bewitching Spores here, causing the target to move slowly towards her. There's that crowd control piece. And then her global skill here increases supporter champions' healing effect by 1.5%. Applies globally, which is very cool. This is new. Once we get it to level 2, it's going to be by 3%. I think that's pretty huge. When we take a look at her gear, here's my suggestions for her gear. One of the reasons why I suggest her so much is she's very plug-and-play friendly. She helps out in combat cycles. She does help out in Training Simulator. And I have her on my attack team in Brawl as well. All of these characters are going to do well, are very plug-and-play. That's one thing I really wanted to focus on. Very plug-and-play friendly, very effective on a multiple number of teams, and very effective in multiple game modes. So let's take a look at her gear. For her legacy, for her mythic piece, I've got her mythic piece on Raven right now because I'm doing some healing testing there, but Purple Ray Radiation, HP, get her HP up there, energy gain. This increases her healing effect. Now you may say, hey, why are we increasing her HP if her healing is based off her attack? I have done some testing. And this has done more for her healing in my experience so far, and where I have this, I've only got it at 1 white star right now, than increasing her attack. So this is my suggestion for Ivy. And also down here, the effect is increased by an additional 9% when the target has less than 50% HP. Now, if you don't have this, then I suggest the Cocoon Gun, which is what I have on her now. This increases her attack, HP, and healing up. So those are my suggestions for her. When we talk about force, then my suggestions for her specifically are going to be attack and healing amp. So attack, because we know that her healing is based on her attack. But then you also have these healing amplification boosts up here, healing up to 4.5% there. This one right here, healing up to 4.5% here. So get those up there to help out. What does these do again? Attack right here, Blooming Ivy's attack increases by 4%. That's going to help. And then let's see, this is Thorny Ivy. This is her healing, Bloom of Life. Those are her healing. This is her attack one. So I'd probably go for this one once I got my healing up and my attack up where I wanted it. All right, so that's Ivy. That's 3 down. We've got 2 to go. Let's go ahead and talk about Harley. Harley, very good character. You get her as a selector character right off the bat when you log into the game, because we hit our number of pre-registration, so everybody gets that. Also, you get her for your 7 days, so she's very quick to start ranking up right off the bat. You can get her also in mother boxes and out of bleed and everything. So let's talk about gear. Her kit. Her kit here, this one here, physical damage based on her attack. Manic Episode additionally reduces the target's defense by 6% for 5 seconds. This one here, Harley Quinn gains HP equal to 4% of damage that she deals. So we would definitely want her to do quite a bit of damage. She is a AoE damage dealer. She is also part of Suicide Squad, which we don't have a full team here just yet. Her ultimate here, Self-Actualization, increases attack by 12% and enhances attacks to deal AoE damage in a small area. That's her AoE attack. Physical damage based on her attack. Physical Physiology, or Special Physiology. She gains 10 energy for each enemy she defeats. And then we've got this right here, Suicide Squad Champions attack by 2%. Again, great damage, great survivability, very plug and play, helps in a number of teams. When we talk about gear, now we obviously have, and you'll see on the list, it's Honkin' Huge Hammer. This is her Mythic Plus specific legacy piece that increases her crit rate, also crit damage, but also down here at the start of battle gains 20 energy, restores 8% of max HP upon defeating an enemy. This is a great legacy piece for her, but if you don't have it, there's 2 other pieces I would suggest. Prometheum Claws here increases HP, attack, and crit resist. She's typically a front row hero. She's right on the line. She's a melee hero, so she's going to take some damage. So if you can reduce the amount of damage that comes in, that's always good. You also have attack increase here. When HP drops below 50%, gain a shield. I really like the Prometheum Claws. Back when Catwoman was awesome, this was my go-to for her. The other option would be Duplication Mirror here, so HP, attack, and dodge. If you can reduce the incoming damage, always good. Increases attack by 6% upon taking a melee hit that increases damage reduction there. So those would be 2 good Mythic options if you don't have the Mythic Plus. And if you just have a Legendary, then you'd go with this one here, HP, attack, and crit damage. Do as much damage as you can, get a little bit of HP out of it. When we take a look at her force, my focus for her would be attack and physical penetration. There is a physical penetration. There's an attack right there. Let's see, crit resist. There is a physical penetration. Where is it? There's attack. Oh, it's right here. It's right here. Physical penetration boost. I'm clicking all over and I can't find it. So yeah, attack, physical penetration, because she does physical damage. When you take a look at her ability stats here, so we do have an HP one. We have this here, increases attack. That's definitely falls in the attack category. And then this one up here additionally reduces the target's defense by 6%. That actually does help improve the amount of damage. Not only her, but your team does. So that's good too. So focus on penetration boost, physical penetration boost right there, as well as your attack. Then any other additional stats that you want to put AC/DC shards in. Just another reminder, remember, when you reset a hero, you do not get your AC/DC shards back. So you really want to be very intentional on the heroes that you put AC/DC boosts into to increase their force, which is, again, their skill tree here. So I don't put a lot. You can see a lot of these are very low. My main focuses have been Superman and Constantine. So just keep that in mind as you're trying to figure out where to spend your AC/DC shards. But stat priorities, still important. And finally, Mera, number 5. You get her right off the bat. You do have 2 healers in the top 5. You will use them interchangeably unless you just have one superiorly outbuilt more than the other. But typically, Ivy you'll use when you want some good healing, some additional damage, some crowd control. Ivy, she's got a couple different types of healing, can sometimes do more healing. It just really depends on who you're going up against and what you need in that battle. If we take a look at her kit, this here, Mera heals an ally for 220% of her attack. Her healing is based on her attack. However, there is a healing over time aspect to her kit as well. This healing is based on her HP. So she's got healing based on 2 different stats right there. This ability here, first 20 seconds of battle, Mera's healing amount is increased by 20%. This is good for Brawl, because Brawls typically don't last too long. You want to get those battles over as quickly as possible, so you have a little bit more healing here. Combat cycle, the longer battles, not as much. That's where Ivy, I think, comes and probably shines a little bit more, but I do use Ivy in combat cycle as well. Same with Training Simulator. She can be helpful there. Training Simulator battles are typically pretty short as well. Combat cycle, pretty long. So let's go to her ultimate here. This is her healing, again, based off attack. We've got an attack boost here on this ability, and then her global ability here, HP for all champions increased by 1,200. That's really not much at all. But like I said, flat stats, that's what all the legendaries have. But it's really good, for, especially in the beginning. But these are also characters that you're going to use throughout the mid-game as well as the end of the end game. That was another factor for the top 5 free-to-play characters, because you can safely invest in them, and they're going to last you throughout the game, at least for right now. We don't know what's going to happen later on down the road. Let's talk about her gear. Her gear is going to be the same as Ivy. Purple Ray Radiation, HP, energy gain bonus, increase in healing effect. And then obviously the effect is increased by an additional 9% when targets have less than 50% HP. And then also Cocoon Gun here. Attack HP, you get 2 boosts to both attacks stats for her, and you get the healing up. And when we talk about her force, it's going to be the healing amps as well. So you want to increase the amount of healing that she does, as well as her attack boost. Let me double check these here really quick. Increase right here, Mera's attack, so this is a good one also. This right here additionally applies healing waters upon over time. Grants to, yep. And then this one over here, physical defense increases. This I haven't put anything in this because I'm focused mainly on her healing ability. She's in the back row, so hopefully everybody else protects her, unless you got Deathstroke that just goes straight for her. Not much you can do about that one. All right, so there you go. Those are the top 5 free-to-play heroes in the game. I think that's a solid list. Again, once you start getting into 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, it gets quite a bit more subjective. So when I do a follow-up to this, I will have a top 10. I just want to do a little bit more work with those next 5. But hey, very curious. What do you think about this list? Did I nail it? Is there somebody else you would have in the top 5 that I don't have in here? Definitely let me know. All right, everybody. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.